Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today to learn a little bit more about the franchise opportunity here with HomeWell Care Services. My name is Christina McGarvey, and I am the Franchise Development Director here with HomeWell. During this due diligence process of you learning as much as you need to make an informed decision if this could be the right fit for you, you'll be hearing a lot from myself as well as our VP of Franchise Development, Brandon Clifford, who we have here with us today. Brandon?
Yeah, thanks for that, Christina. As she mentioned, my name is Brandon Clifford. I'm the Vice President of Franchise Development here at HomeWell, and really excited to get to know you all during this process, and share a little bit about HomeWell, with you here today. Hopefully by the end of this conversation, you'll have a feeling that HomeWell is the right vehicle for you to take that leap into business ownership, and that home care is the right industry, and now's the right time for you. But one thing I just wanted to stress before we got into this is that this really is a two-way street. Christina and I will take a real concerted effort to get to know you personally and professionally, and make sure there is a fit on both sides. So without further ado, let's get to the reason why we're here today, and let's jump right in and get talking about HomeWell franchising. So to get started, whenever people are thinking about business ownership and they're in some sort of a transition, there's a few different ways that they want to go about this, and for many people, a franchise, really makes, a lot of sense. Starting a business, it's just not a simple task at all. Quite honestly, the hardest thing to do is start, so kudos to you all for being here, and kind of making the decision to at least put one foot in front of the other and begin your research and your due diligence into becoming your own boss. So in my opinion, business ownership truly embodies the American dream. There's really no greater feeling than determining one's own worth. And what I really love about franchising in particular is it kind of opens the doors to business ownership and to entrepreneurship to those who otherwise may never do so themselves. That's because with a franchise, you can receive, all the benefits, all the rewards, that come along with owning your own business, but you're also able to mitigate a bit of that risk by working with a trusted franchisor, someone who has your back, someone who has industry experience, who has an infrastructure in place and has developed a brand that you can just plug into and run with in your local market. You see, building a business, I like to say, it's a lot like climbing a mountain. There's some people out there who, they prefer to just put on their backpack, lace up their boots, and scale that mountain on their own. They don't need a trail, they don't need a map. It's just them in the mountain, and that's the challenge that they seek. Those people are pioneers. They're trailblazers. They're the ones who, prefer to make their own path instead of following one that's already laid out for them. Those people are inventors. They're entrepreneurs in the purest form. Other people, myself included, prefer to follow a trail. You want that trail map. You want the climb. You want it to still be difficult and taxing, and get the feeling of accomplishment from making it to the peak. But you just prefer to stay on a path. Because that if you stay on that path, you're going to reach the summit, and it's the same summit that those pioneers and those trailblazers would reach. But you can get there in a much more predictable manner, and that's really what franchising is all about. You have the comfort of using that map to reach your goals. It becomes also an opportunity to work together with other climbers, to stay on the same metaphor, other franchisees who've gone down that path. They can motivate you and cheer you along, and help you reach those benchmarks. So that, ultimately the goal is to leverage your strengths with the strengths of others for greater success. So that's why I think it's a great time and a great opportunity to join, not just in business ownership, but as a franchise in particular. And, to tell you a little bit more about, the industry and why hopefully HomeWell is the vehicle that you will choose, I'm going to, kind of pass it back over to Christina. So Christina, go ahead, take it away.
Absolutely. So like Brandon stated, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into why home care, why HomeWell, and the different things that we have to offer here. Now, of course, this will be a little bit of information, but as we continue to dive into this due diligence, we'll help you be able to digest it, and we'll be able to continue to build upon the information given. So one of the things that I find super interesting about the home care space is the tremendous potential. And that is due to that ever-growing customer base. I am sure you have heard the statistic 100 times 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 each day, this creating that growing customer base without you as the business owner having to do anything. And truly, that's just kind of scratching the surface. And that's because 30% of your home care clients are even under the age of 65. So that is normally what I consider that home care gravy, if you will. Another statistic I like to point out is that 56 million people right now are over the age of 65. Now that number is expected to grow to 84 million by 2050. And even in the older generation of 85 plus, that number is currently sitting around 7 million and expected to grow until around 19 million by 2050. What's interesting about that statistic is that 40% of adults over the age of 65 are already needing that assistance with daily living activities. One other statistic I do want to point out, and it's not even on here actually, is that 1 in 8 individuals between the ages of 40 and 60 are actually taking care of children and an aging loved one. So it's that what we call sandwich generation, if you will, that is really going to bear the brunt of the silver tsunami that's headed our way. So now that you know a little bit about the industry, let's dive into more about HomeWell. This is our strong brand promise, stating to those we serve and their loved ones, HomeWell Care Services delivers on every aspect of quality care with trusted and reliable expertise, true compassion, and a culture that prioritizes your peace of mind. And those 3 words at the end, I think, are such a big deal, and that's peace of mind, because ultimately that's what we're providing. We're providing peace of mind to that client who is scared of falling again, peace of mind to their loved ones who is worried about mom and dad but can't take care of them themselves, and peace of mind to the referral source who gave us the information to service that client. And so I think that's a really big thing that we need to concentrate on is selling that peace of mind. Now here's what we do. All of our franchise owners provide live-in and hourly personal care, companionship, and homemaker services for seniors and really any other homebound individual. Now we do break it up into 3 levels of care. And that's just so that our clients are not paying for any costly extras, and us understanding that not one size fits all, right? You might have somebody that just needs some companionship with light housekeeping a couple hours a week, or you might have a case that's specialty care that has early onset Alzheimer's or dementia that needs 24/7 care. You're going to have them kind of all over the map there, but they'll probably fall into one of these 3 distinct categories: companion care, basic care, and specialty care. Now, in addition to our 3 levels of care, one of the things that will set you apart to your consumers and in your market is our dedicated care management program. This is where our owners are taking more holistic approach to care because we want to support our clients' wants and needs, even if it's something outside of the services that we offer. So we help advocate on the clients' and families' behalf to match those needs and wants to ancillary services provided by other professionals in the community. So what does this look like? This is where the care manager will come into the home. They'll assess the needs. They'll continually monitor it as time goes on. They will advocate. So maybe one of those needs is they need a shower bar or grab bar installed in their shower, or maybe a shower seat from a durable medical equipment company. Maybe it's they need their lawn mowed. Whatever it is, we want to be able to be that thought leader and be able to connect them to the ancillary services provided by others within our community. So we'll bridge that gap between healthcare and community providers. We also want to coach the family caregivers. Maybe we are only in the home a couple days a week. We want to ensure that that client is getting the best services as possible and their wants and needs are being met 24/7. So if we need to help out a family member that's taking care of them the other 4 days, we want to make sure to coach them to provide the best services for their loved one. In addition to our 3 levels of care and care management, here at HomeWell, we also provide all of our franchise owners with comprehensive programs and support services with our brand programs. Now, each of these brand programs is really strategically designed to enhance that patient care, quality of life, and independence. They will not only have a positive impact directly within our communities, but it's also going to enhance that competitive differentiation. It's going to set your brand apart. People are going to start recognizing you based off of these programs. And above all, it's going to drive traffic to you. So it's going to attract you new referral sources. A couple of these are our Go HomeWell post-medical care program, which is just that. We want you to be able to go home well post-medical care. Maybe our client just had hip surgery. They went from a hospital to a rehab, and now they're going home. We really want to transition them back into the home safely to help them from being that revolving door that goes right back in the hospital if they have another fall. We want to make sure that they don't have any cords in the way to get to the bathroom, hallways are lit, all of those things. And we just want to ensure a safe and comforting welcome back home. We have our Sure Step Fall Prevention Program. Falls are the #1 reason seniors do land in the hospital. So we want to help eliminate those as much as possible. We have one of my favorites, which is our Life Enrichment Activities Program. This is really for socialization and engagement. So we will do an assessment of the client and see, what kind of things are they interested in? Maybe they want to bake, or they used to love to bake, but now their hand's a little shaky, or they can't read the back of the box. We want to make sure that we're pairing them with a caregiver that is going to enrich their lives while they have the privilege of serving them. So be able to do these things with them and engage rather than sit on the couch and watch Days of Our Lives and eat bonbons, right? We really want to improve that quality of life there. We have our HomeWell Cares community education health initiatives. This is where we partner with others within the community to provide health education health initiatives through education and outreach. They are great programs. I often say this is the feel good of the business because you're able to give back. It puts you as that thought leader, and it really offers value to our clients that we're serving, to our communities, and of course, to our referral partners. We also have our HomeWell Talent Management Program. This is where we're going to teach you how to attract and retain the best of the best caregivers. Those tips and tricks to really mitigate any retention and keep the best ones on the HomeWell staff, right? Next, we're going to go into our training and support. So what do we offer you as the franchise owner? Now, our training and support is all designed around giving you that confidence right from the start. So upon your signing day, we are going to assign you an opening services manager. This opening services manager is going to be with you through 15 weeks of opening services up until your launch. You'll be working very closely with them. They're going to be your best friend and your go-to to help get your doors open. During that 15 weeks in your training with your opening services manager, most of it is going to be over the phone, via conference call, and webinars. But we do have 1 week of core training. This is where we invite you to our corporate location, just north of Wichita Falls, Texas, and you come to our corporate headquarters to do face-to-face training with peers going through the same process as you are. Now, after that, and you are about ready to launch, we're going to send that opening services manager out to your location to do a pre-opening site visit. Again, they're there just to give you that confidence right from the start. We want to make sure that all your ducks are in a row, so when you're ready to take on clients, you hit the ground running, reducing those days to the dollar. In conjunction with that visit, you will also be going through 5 weeks of business-to-business sales training, which we'll dive a little bit deeper into here next. And that'll be in conjunction with your launch. So opening those doors, scheduling your grand opening with your local chamber of commerce, and being able to accept clients. You then will receive a second site visit around 90 days, and then a third around 6 to 9 months after opening. So we will actually come out to your location, 3 different times within the first year. Now, this is what I would call an ideal timeline or a cookie cutter training and support timeline. However, we do know that no two individuals are going to be the same. So we oftentimes make it more of a boutique style once we understand your needs, your agency needs, and your state specific needs. The training is always, of course, broken up into stages accordingly. Now, that business to business sales onboarding class. Now, this is going to be one of the major things that sets us apart as a corporate team, what we offer you as a franchise owner, because we are the only home care franchise at this time that's offering a dedicated sales training class. And that's because we really understand the impact that this can have on your business. About 70% of your business is going to come from pounding the pavement, getting out there and establishing relationships with what you're seeing on the screen, which is what I call the healthcare continuum. We are going to help you identify, prospect, and qualify 50 to 75 of these referral sources in your territory. Once we do that, we're then going to take you through a simple process of teaching you how each of them operate. As you can imagine, an independent living facility and a hospice facility is much different. So we want to make sure that you know when you're going into that, how do they operate? What are their pain points? Who are the key decision makers? And how do we build our value proposition around that? Additionally, we do help you build a routing. So again, when your doors are open, you have that confidence from the start. You know exactly where you're going and it's efficient. You're not going, to one place, crossing town, going to another, going back. We're going to help you build that efficiency plan on what referral sources you're going to be seeing and when. One of the great things about the sales onboarding class is it does recycle. So if you are in it, you graduate, a couple months down the road, you are doing great. You want to penetrate the market even further and hire a second salesperson, send them back through the sales onboarding class. It is a continual training. And we always encourage anybody that is going to be doing sales for your location to go through that onboarding class. So now that we have a better understanding of the business in HomeWell, let's talk what it takes to become an owner and the numbers behind the business. So you're looking at about $150,000 initial investment, with $49,500 being that initial franchise fee. Now, how much can you make? That's the fun part, right? Our item 19 states that the average gross revenue per franchise owner is just under 1.8 million at 1.773 annually. Now we do have a 5% royalty fee and 2% brand fund that will reduce to 1% after $1 million in annual revenue. Now I'm going to kick it back to Brandon to tell you why now is such an exciting time to join HomeWell.
Thanks, Christina. Now, obviously now you have a little bit of a base knowledge about home care and then our brand programs and how we support you through opening and launch. And like I said at the beginning of this conversation, we really feel like franchising, and the franchise development process is a two-way street. I like to equate it a lot to dating. We want to get to know one another, and we go on a few initial dates and see if we might be a fit that potentially, I want to introduce you to my family, and that's when you get into validation and, and start talking to our franchise owners and, and see if you like them. And then if you like our family, potentially we're going to want to get married. And then we have a 10-year agreement, is what our franchise agreements. But anyway, so if you're going to want to potentially get to know us and become a HomeWell franchise owner, I think it's important to understand, where the brand came from and hear a little bit about the brand story. So that's what I'm going to share with you now. And I think that after we get through this, you'll see that it's a really exciting time here at HomeWell, especially because there's been a lot of changes that have happened over the last couple of years. So what you're seeing now is HomeWell Senior Care, and you're probably wondering, like, wait a minute, I thought we were talking about HomeWell Care Services. What is this HomeWell Senior Care thing up in front of me here? Well, this is our roots. This is actually where HomeWell came from. HomeWell was founded in back in 2002, so almost, 18, 20 years ago now, by actually a caregiver. Our founder was a caregiver. His name is Joshua Hoffman, and he had worked in caregiving for several years, and really felt like he could build something where he could put his caregivers first. It could potentially be a better model, and that's how HomeWell grew. Josh was very entrepreneurial. Grew the system really without a lot of knowledge of franchising. Just kind of had a real passion for taking care of elders and helping people age in place, and then also taking care of caregivers. So a lot of our brand programs, a lot of our operations is kind of through the eyes built through the eyes of a caregiver, which I think gives us a really solid base for the future. So then now, for the future development of our brand programs and things like that is what I mean. So then now fast forward to about 4 years ago, so 16 or so years or 15 or so years into the growth of HomeWell Senior Care, along came a gentleman by the name of Bruce Haas. So now Bruce, he had a background in franchising specifically, mostly in hospitality. He was the CEO of a few major hospitality chains, and really had a great background in helping companies build big brands, and specifically in the franchise model. And he was in a bit of transition, very similar to a lot of you who are probably watching this webinar today. He kind of has a little bit of a personal story with home care. He had an aging mother, who was aging in place at home and used the services of a caregiver. A fantastic story that I'm sure at some point, if you have a chance to meet Bruce, he can share it with you much better. But really had a strong why of why he was investigating the home care industry specifically. So like I said, he had set out, was thinking about joining a franchise company as a franchise owner, and that's kind of how he found HomeWell. So he started looking at lots of different franchise concepts out there, some big ones, that are the bigger ones in the space, some really small startup entrepreneurial type, franchises that maybe had 4 or 5 locations. And he found this middle-sized one in Wichita Falls, Texas, which is where our corporate headquarters is based out of, called HomeWell Senior Care. Got to know the owner, the founder, Josh, got to know some of the operations team, and really felt that from an operations standpoint, training and support, things like that, HomeWell was doing a lot better than some of the bigger brands out there even. But what HomeWell was really lacking was a knowledge of franchising, a knowledge of a really strong brand that would allow our owners to kind of plug into it and be a difference maker in their local market, as well as knowledge of being able to recruit the right franchise owner, training and replication of systems and processes to be able to pass efficiently and effectively. So took a couple of years for Bruce and Josh to work out the structure of their deal, so to speak. But then about 2 years ago, it was in 2018 or so, Bruce decided to come on as the majority shareholder and now owns the majority of the company, as you'll see in our franchise disclosure document. And that's when HomeWell Care Services was really born. Okay, so our previous positioning, our previous branding, we really felt like was a little bit too general, to really stand out in the marketplace. And one of the very first things that Bruce did when he beefed up our marketing department, and they did a real internal study into the home care industry to figure out where our brand fit, where the opportunities were, and how we could, grow moving forward. We felt like there was a lot of good things about the old brand. We learned that there was a lot of good things. The name HomeWell tested really, really well. There was a good foundation there, but we felt like dropping the senior from our name really allowed our franchise owners to go after a little bit of a broader audience, not just seniors. We feel like this industry is moving towards home care for all. And by having the name senior in our logo and in our brand name, really kind of pigeonholed us and didn't allow our franchise owners to go after that. So this new logo, this new visual identity, we feel like really positions the brand very, very strong for the future. And all the investments that we've been making into this, revamping our systems, our training, our processes, has really shown a lot of growth has followed because of that. So if you move on here and look at what our footprint looked like when I first came to the company, when Bruce took over, about a year or so ago when I came in, we had about 40 locations, so solid footprint. And this is one of the things that I think makes HomeWell so exciting today. We have a good history. We have a solid foundation, some really, really successful owners, who you can tap into and learn from and have that brand equity. But there's a lot of room for growth as well. We're kind of a hybrid. We're not exactly, one of those old tired brands that, there's no room for growth, but we're also not a complete startup. We have that excitement and feeling though of a startup as well. So over the last year, since I came on board as the Vice President of Franchise Development of May of 2019, we've actually added 13 new franchise owners and 20 new territories across the country. We're really pushing to get to that 100 unit mark, and our goal is to be at 150 units nationwide within the next 5 years. And with the amount of activity that we have right now, with the growth in the industry and the growing demand for home care right now, we really feel like it's a perfect storm, and there's no reason why we won't get there. So like I said, we've been growing exponentially recently, and we're definitely not done yet. Because here at HomeWell, we're really on a mission to partner with like-minded individuals who have that passion for business ownership, commitment to succeed, and want to spread our mission of trusted care, true compassion nationwide. So like I said a couple times during this, this is a two-way street. We do have a few different ways that we're going to measure that fit, and we hope that you're trying to measure that fit as well. We use not just a few webinars and conversations and whatnot, but also we have some behavioral science tools. We partnered with Zoracle assessments, so we can measure that fit between, not just, we don't want just anyone off the street to become a HomeWell Care Services franchisee. We're looking for the best of the best, people who are serious about wanting to make a difference in their local market, while also, owning a business that can be very scalable, and grow as well. So hopefully, you've got at least a little bit of a taste of what we're looking for, and and why we feel like now is an exciting time to be a part of the HomeWell network. And so if you want to continue that conversation and you want to learn more, Christina is going to share with you a little bit about how that conversation would look.
So here's a little bit more on our discovery process, should you have that desire to move forward. Now, initially, you're going to have some sort of introductory call, qualification call done by myself. And then after that, we're going to move you into the due diligence, or what I call the education phase. This is where myself or Brandon, the first step, will go over the business and financial overview. We feel that it's very important to take a proactive approach when educating you on the financial breakdown of the opportunity. So we do this pretty quickly within the process. Once that is completed, we are then going to disclose you our franchise disclosure document, which is a very long document full of legalities, but it does a really great job of telling you what you can expect from us as a franchisor and what we will expect of you as a franchise owner. Because it is a long document, and in my opinion, a little bit boring, we're going to give you a little bit of time to review that. So then we will dive a little bit deeper into that training and support, going over that on a webinar. We will then go over the marketing and branding, educating you on exactly what we can provide for you there. And then we'll kick you over to Brandon to do that FDD review call. After that FDD review call, he'll ask you to submit your application. Now, this does not obligate you to anything. It simply lets us know that you have the means and the drive to move forward with your learning process. And then it allows you to go to step 3, which is the exciting part. And now that's validations. This is where you will be able to speak to some of our existing franchise owners. And to be honest, this is typically everybody's favorite part. You're speaking with the individuals that are in the trenches every day and getting a good picture of exactly what your life could be like as a HomeWell franchise owner. After validation, we will be inviting you to our next Discovery Day. A Discovery Day is where you get to meet with us in our executive team face to face, look in the whites of each other's eyes just to get to know each other, go through a little bit more about the opportunity with the individual supporting your business, and then you'll have the chance to meet one-on-one with the executive team to discuss any needs or concerns that you might have. After discovery day, we go back. Brandon meets with the executive team. They decide, hey, are we a good fit? You go home, you decide the same thing. If we decide to mutually move forward, that's when a franchise would be awarded and everything could be done electronically from that part. That's really when the excitement happens, right? That's when that little bit of fear that everybody has when they're signing on the dotted line turns into that motivation and that excitement to get their business ramped up and going. Now, the overall goal of the discovery process is to provide you all the information you will need to really make an educated decision whether home care and hopefully HomeWell is a good fit for you. Now, this process does go as quickly or as slowly as you feel comfortable. Typically, we see anywhere from about 5 to 8 weeks is going to be average on time to go through this process. And that is going to lead us to the end of the presentation today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself or Brandon at any time. Our direct line to the development department is 817-916-8904, or you can always shoot us an email at franchising@homewellcares.com. Thank you all for joining today. We are so excited to share more information and to talk with each of you one-on-one. Before we get going, Brandon, any last words?
I think you summarized it really well, Christina. Thank you guys so much for your time. I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you personally and professionally. Take care.